3 things I wish I knew when I started self-development. The first being is that you will fail constantly. Often our journeys with self-development start in a place where we're already at our lowest and we think that it can't get any worse, so we might as well push ourselves to be better because we're just tired of ourselves. Development takes time, and the very things that you are implementing to become a better version of yourself, all of these habits take time to implement. Now, an increase in the amount of time that you take to implement these new habits does not mean that there is a decrease in your capability to eventually be consistent with these habits. Number 2 is that this progression is going to be happening gradually, so it is imperative that you start with one thing. Now, this one thing can be anything, but this is what translates into your overall success over time, because you take the time to build up your confidence in that one habit, and then it transfers to all of the other things. So often we get caught up in wanting to completely rebrand ourselves and reinvent ourselves that we don't realize that our brain is getting overloaded. We need to make one decision to make it easier for our brain to get from point A to point B. Number 3 is that sometimes it simply sucks. If self-development were easy, everybody would be doing it. And the 2 main things that make it suck are, one, comparison, as we know, is the thief of joy. And the other thing that makes it suck is constant failure. How do we fix that constant failure that's happening? It's so easy to just give up on the process because, again, it sucks. You're already trying to be better and you're failing at it. This failure is usually linked to one of 2 things. The first is overconsumption. Now, this is about the things that you consume, what kind of topics that you consume, and about how much you consume. Self-development should be about 20% of learning and 80% of implementation. If you don't follow this, you basically have a whole bunch of mumbo jumbo in your head, nothing's getting done, and you are still stuck in the same place. So it's probably time for a detox if this is a constant problem for you, overconsumption. The other reason for constant failure is something called self-concept, which can also be construed as identity. This is something that James Clear talks about in his book Atomic Habits, and it basically means that you are having an identity crisis because the habits that you want to implement and the person you want to become does not align with the version of yourself that your subconscious has of you, the picture that your subconscious has of you. So how do you fix this? You have to rewire your subconscious and make it understand that your identity has shifted to someone who is not trying to quit smoking, but is not a smoker, who is not trying to go to the gym every day, but enjoys fitness because they're looking out for their mental health. I could do a whole nother video on your self-concept and how to change it, but the basis of this is simply about rewiring your mind. And the ways that you do this are through shadow work, to understand yourself, reflection, and this process of dumping and reloading. Now, what do I mean by dumping and reloading? What exactly are we going to dump, and what exactly are we going to put back into our brain? There are 3 main zones that you should dump. One is limiting beliefs, and this should be done in real time. So I mean, if you have this thought that you know is not in line with the version of yourself who is going to be the most confident, the most successful, you are going to fix that limiting belief in real time by simply saying the truth that you want to believe. This is another version of affirmation, but it's more powerful because you do it in real time, addressing the limiting belief as it comes up. The limiting environment is basically just all of the outside opinions that you're listening to. They will affect you eventually, even if you yourself believe in yourself. And the other is bad consumption. Now, what do I mean by bad consumption? I'm not talking about morally bad consumption. I'm talking about the kind of consumption that leads you to have addictions to certain things, to understand the world through a certain perspective, or just simply affirm things that you do not want to be true for you in your life. Now, this is going to come through all of the media that you consume, whether it be a podcast, a book, a show, and especially social media, because all of these are simply opinions. But let me tell you where these opinions are going. They're going into your subconscious brain. That is where all of your decisions and desires are coming from. Now, what do I mean by reload? What exactly are we reloading, and how do we do that? This is simply about the words you use. Instead of limiting beliefs, you're going to have affirmation. Intentional affirmation is important, not just erasing all of the limiting beliefs from your past, but affirming new things that you want to be true so your brain is not empty and therefore susceptible to new ideas that are not necessarily beneficial to where you want to go. These kind of coincide because it's simply about going internal, being more grateful for where you are, which can attract more abundance to you, and specifically spending time with yourself. This is the most important part of self-development because it is linked to self-love. Self-love, self-acceptance, that is where your self-development starts at its core, or at least a powerful determining factor of where it goes. You simply want to take the time to spend time with yourself so that you can understand yourself and understand what you want, what you think of certain things, and what your core convictions and beliefs are, because everything in this world is a projection, and it's up to you whether or not you take on that projection or you turn it into redirection. This video itself is a projection of my opinions, the things I've learned, my experiences. Now it's up to you to take your self-development into your own hands and personalize it. And maybe one day you yourself will have experiences and opinions that will be your own projection that may be able to help someone else.